Okay, so I'm back with part two, and just basically colouring in the, I guess, the wood furniture in this picture, which is not one of my favourite things to do. I was going to pick out a couple of different browns, I guess, and see how we go. So I think I'll start with this table, just in case you want to know. This is burnt ochre in the Prisma colour. And I'm just going to go ahead and colour in this table. So if you're wondering how often I colour, I colour in every day. That's just the sort of person that I am. Every sort of craft I've ever been into, which is a lot of different crafts and arty things. Whenever I do them, I go full throttle or not at all. So yeah, since I've been colouring, since I decided to get really into it, I've been colouring every single day. No, I tell a fib. I have had like a day off here and there if I've had like a really bad headache, or just not feeling well, or maybe we went out for the day or something like that. But apart from that, even the days that I work, because I work part-time, when I come home, I clean up the house. I hope you can see this. Yep. I clean up the house, do my housework and stuff, kind of like, the bare essentials. And then I will, probably sit down. Normally I colour in front of the TV. Even if I don't have the TV on, I normally colour in my lounge on one of those stable table things. I just feel more comfortable in my living room, in a comfy chair. I put the stable table on my lap. My pencils, which are in a box, I put them on the arm of the chair, and I put my book on my stable table, and then I've got like a little coffee table which is next to my chair. I put my sharpener there, and then I'm all kind of set up. And I'll either I might listen to music in there, or I'll watch TV, or I'll just listen to my family chatting away. But it's kind of like the hub of where our family is, and I just prefer it than sitting here. Like at the moment I'm sitting at my kitchen table, because this is where my my tripod for my phone and all that is set up in here. I can't set it up in my lounge, and I just think it's better on a table like this. So that's when I do colouring on the table. But I have to admit, with the colouring that I do on my stable table, it's probably not the best, because I do get, once in 2 weeks or so, I do get like bad sort of neck aches, because I'm looking down too much. So it's probably not the best that I do it that way. But while I'm colouring, I don't feel any pain at all. But it's, kind of like the next day, I'm like, oh no, my neck hurts. Because I think what I'm doing is I'm tending to like hold my neck in a specific way. It might be to the side a little bit as I'm concentrating, And sometimes, you know, when you're colouring, you kind of stiffen up. I don't know if you do, but I stiffen up my shoulders a bit too. So I think I've just got to remind myself that every few minutes just to kind of relax my shoulders, give them kind of a roll around, and do the same with my neck. Because I think I'm tensing a little bit when I'm colouring. And yeah, I don't want to get more aches and pains than I've already got. So yeah, if you're in the same situation, yeah, I just think, yeah, just, you know, every few minutes, just have a rest, relax. And or sometimes, like, I'll get up on purpose and I'll, you know, go put the dishwasher on, or I'll put the washing machine on, or hang some washing out, or whatever it be, just so that I can have, like, my body can have a bit of a break. So yeah. So while I remember, I just want to thank Corey Shearer. I hope I'm saying your name correctly, from YouTube. Thank you for hosting this colour along. I think it's a great idea. I know there's plenty of colour alongs that you can do through Facebook, colouring book groups and stuff, and I'm part of those groups as well. But I like this idea where you don't have to be in a Facebook group. You don't have to post the picture anywhere. You just make a video and show it to anyone else who, you know, either made the video or is just interested in watching you colour. I'm just going over this a bit harder. That's my table done. And then I was kind of thinking with these shutters that I kind of want them more in sort of a golden, this is goldenrod from Prismacolor. I'm just going to colour these in here. I've always been kind of like I was saying, an arty crafty person that's tried everything and anything. Like before I started going full throttle, what I call it, with my colouring, I was doing a lot of journaling, like collage, where I was making a journal with lots and lots of magazine images in them. You'll see some videos that I've got up of that sort of thing. I think it was called En Masse, which I was having a lot of fun with. But I don't know, colouring is just staying with me for some reason. Like a lot of crafts, art and crafts, I kind of do for maybe a couple of weeks and then I grow bored of them. But, you know, so far colouring has been really good. I haven't got bored with it. There has been some days where I've kind of looked at my bookshelf in the colouring books and going, oh, I've got all these colouring books and I have no idea what I feel like colouring. And that might be one of those days that I don't actually colour, because it's just like, oh, there's nothing I actually feel like doing. But that doesn't happen too often. That's why I like to have lots of different colouring books, like, because I'm always in a different mood to colour something different. Like today, or even this morning, I'll probably do more colouring later on today. It depends how I go with time, because got to go do my grocery shopping today, you know, the normal daily chores. But, you know, this morning I just felt like doing the Disney colour along and getting that out to you. But tomorrow I might feel like doing something completely different, and I might, you know, not work in this at all. I might do like a mandala in my mandala book. Yeah, and I love having that choice, and I think that's why I've got as many colouring books as I do. But I don't have, you know, excessive amount. Well, I don't think I have an excessive amount. Like some people just go absolutely crazy and they've got like 100, 200 colouring books, more to last their entire lifetime. And I know that some people just collect colouring books, and you know, that's what they're about. They're actually more into the collecting of the art of them rather than actually colouring them. And that is, you know, that's fine, but I'm actually wanting to colour in my books, and there really is no need to have, you know, 100 colour in books for that, because there's more colouring in than you could possibly do in your lifetime in those books. You know, so I've got, I believe I'm about 30. I've got about 30, I would say, in my collection. And I will be the first to admit there's probably, I'd say about 5 of those that I really should not have probably bought, because I loved them at first. When I first got them in the post, it was like, oh yeah. And then I may have coloured in one picture, and then like I haven't looked at it since because I've kind of gone off of it. Yeah, I'll be the first to admit that I have bought probably 5 too many than I should have, and now I'm kind of being a lot more fussier. A lot more fussier on what I actually choose now. And like, I'm not one to get on the bandwagon and get something just because it's popular with everyone else in the colouring community. And a good example of that is Kirby Rosanna's his Morphia range. Like he's got Anamorphia, Imagimorphia and Mythomorphia. Now, I got Mythomorphia, which I really do like, but I'm quite happy with just the one book of his, because they all really, I mean, they are all very, very similar. I mean, they've all got the doodles and the you know, not whimsical, but the, you know, nice illustrations with it. And you know, some people have got all 3, which I'm not ditching those people, but I'm just saying I personally do not need all 3, because, you know, one book is enough for me. If I finish that book, then I may consider getting one of his other books if I, you know, still enjoy his art and want to colour that sort of thing in. But a lot of people just think, oh, that one's popular, I've got to get that one, you know, and then they never use it. Because, you know, they've got 2 others by him, you know. So I'm kind of trying to be a bit of an individual that way, and I'm only trying to get things that I'm actually interested in. And it's the same with this colour along. Like, I like Disney, but I'm not like super Disney orientated. And I did look at a few of the Disney books, but I can honestly say there wasn't a single Disney book that I thought, you know what, I love every image in this and I would colour the whole book. And that's what I'm looking for nowadays when I do go for a book. I'm looking at the images and I want to think to myself, yes, I would colour at least, you know, 98% of these images I would enjoy to colour. And that's a big amount, I know. So it has to be for me to buy another colouring book because, like I said, I've got 30 of them. So it really would have to be quite a spectacular book for me to buy it. So that's why I find YouTube reviews by other people so brilliant, because without that you really wouldn't know what you're buying. So these flip throughs are just, thank God for YouTube and the internet, and to be able to see what you're actually buying. I'm just putting a few dark lines in here because to show that's wood. Yeah, so you know what I mean, like I'm trying to be a bit stricter on myself. So this one that I said, The Night Voyage, is one that I looked up on YouTube quite a few times before I actually bought it. And I've already got one by Daria Song, so I know that I love her images that she does. And, you know, all her books are very similar in her artwork. And so yeah, so I'm quite happy. I'm quite happy to buy that one from her and put it away for the future. And that's what I'm starting to think too. Oh, well, I've got a few to do at the moment, but for the future, you know, because, you know, in 10 years' time, I might still be colouring and I might not be able to get that book anymore, which unfortunately does happen to books, you know, and they get harder to come by and more expensive because they're older, or you just can't get it anymore. So that's my little ramble. My little ramble about purchasing colouring books. It's what I try to tell myself anyway, you know, because it's so easy, especially like when you're beginning to buy colouring books. It is so easy to fall into that net of just, especially when you first discover them and you're like, it's a whole new world, and you're like, oh my goodness, I've got to have this one, and that's so cute, I've got to have this one, I've got to have that one. And I'm the first one to say I fell into that trap, and that's why I've got like 30 of them. You know, and I think everybody falls into that trap. But you know, they're not cheap. Not everybody has, you know, $15, $20, $25 to spend on each of these adult colouring books, you know, and makes you think, is it really a gimmick? You know, just by putting adult written on it, you can ask $20 more than a children's book, because some of them, well, a lot of them I look at and I'm going, well, you could market that as a children's book and, you know, that could easily be, you know, a lot cheaper than it is. My daughter's studying psychology in advertising and media at the moment, so I think she's got to me a bit as well. She's telling me all the gimmicks that advertisers use in selling products and things like that. So, yeah, I think she gets me thinking. We were talking about like the air flights the other day, and my husband said, oh, what's a better airline? Is it such and such or such and such? I won't say the two airlines, but two Australian airlines. And I said, well, obviously the such and such airline, because their tickets are dearer. And I fell right into it. And, you know, my daughter's like, see, that is an exact case that she was talking about. There is a thing, a psychological thing that she has studied about that that people do think that things are better because they're more expensive. So it can be the exact same product, but because one is dearer, they think automatically that it's better. So, and I fell right into it when it came to these airfares for these two planes. I just thought, oh, well, they must be a better airline because their tickets are much dearer. That's not always the case. So is that's a question for you. Is that the case in some of these colouring books? I just did this like a really, this is Polychromo Cold Grey #1, because it kind of, to me, it was